In this question, they're saying that you are pulling your little sister on her sled across a frictionless surface, and when you exert a constant horizontal force of 120 newtons, that's 120 newtons, the sled has an acceleration of 2.5 meters per second squared, and that is in this direction. And they are giving you the sled's mass and asking the mass of the little sister. So what other forces are on this system? We have our weight force. Weight is always equal to mass times gravity. And then we have our normal force. Normal is always perpendicular to the surface, and let's call it N, and that N is not to be confused with the N in newtons. So let's look at all the forces. Let's draw a chart. So we have forces, and we want to have x and y coordinates. So we have our 120 Newton force, and then we have our W, and then we have our normal force. So 120 newtons is only in the x direction. So if we do this, this is positive x and positive y. So we have positive 120 for x component, 0 for y component. And for the weight, we don't have a component in the x direction, but we have one in the y direction. But it is negative because W is pointed downwards. So let's just write negative W. And then normal force, again, we don't have a positive or negative x component, but we have a y component which is positive. So what we can do now is to add our x and y components. So if we add our x components, we have 120, and if we add our y components, we have negative W plus N. And this is our summation of forces. So this is our x component and this is our y component. Now what we can do is use Newton's second law, which is F equals ma, and we can try this equation in either x or y direction. Let's try x first. Go to Fx equals max. This would be the sum. So all of x right here is 120 is what we have. And as for the mass, we have mass of the sled, and we also have mass of the sister. And then acceleration is 2.5 in the x direction. So mass of the sled is 7.4 kilograms. So this gives us 7.4 kilograms plus mass of the sister is equal to 120 divided by 2.5, and that is 48. So mass of the sister is 48 minus 7.4, which is equal to 40.6. Don't forget units. This is in kilograms. So what we did was to draw all the forces and then draw a chart, and for each force have x and y components. Then we add the x components together, add the y components together, just like, because remember the forces are vectors. And then we try F equals ma in the x direction, and in some cases in the y direction, and in some problems